welcome back to Nails Before Films. It's your favorite disgrace to society. I'm back to reviewing Kraven the Hunter. I reviewed Morbius and Madam Web last time, and I also reviewed Venom The Last Dance a while back. Links for those videos are in the description. Kraven the Hunter is supposedly the last installment in the Spiderman-less Spider-Man universe. And man, it's amazing how Sony consistently makes these movies bad. Personally, Kraven is at least better than Morbius and Madam Web, but that's like comparing three crabs and deciding which stinks less. Besides, my enjoyment is mostly due to how hot Aaron Taylor-Johnson is in the movie, but I can still tell how bad Kraven the Hunter is. Again, I'm not familiar with Spider-Man comics. I know nothing about Kraven the Hunter, so my thoughts are entirely based on the movie. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's start with what I find at least entertaining in Kraven the Hunter and why I had more fun watching it than Morbius and Madam Web. As I mentioned, Aaron Taylor-Johnson is incredibly buff in this movie, so at least it's easy on the eyes. Seriously, the highlight of this movie for me was seeing Aaron Taylor-Johnson show off his muscles. That was the part I enjoyed the most. You might ask, Jared Leto showed off his muscle in Morbius, how come you didn't enjoy that? First of all, Morbius did not show off the actor's physique as extensively as Kraven. It only happened once or twice. More importantly, I hate Jared Leto's Joker, so I couldn't find Morbius hot at all. Besides Aaron Taylor-Johnson being a jacked eye candy, the fights in Kraven the Hunter are much more entertaining than those in Morbius and Madam Web. Because Kraven's ability is mostly just having the speed and strength of an apex predator, and most of the villains are just normal criminals, the fights aren't as CGI heavy as Morbius. And it's infinitely better than Madam Web because that movie barely had any fights. Cassie basically just rammed her car into the villain every time. It's pretty fun to see Kraven prance around like an animal and take on men with guns with bare hands and primitive weapons. The opening fight of Kraven killing a criminal in prison and escaping is really solid and exciting, but the fight that I enjoyed the most was the car chase when Kraven's brother got abducted. Kraven freaking runs after the car barefoot while wearing a dress shirt and pants. Yes, it's as absurd and funny as it sounds. I'm not saying it's good, the car chase achieves nothing, but it's at least entertaining. I had fun during that part, which never happened when I watched Morbius and Madam Web. Those are the only two positives I can say about the film. Everything else is terrible in Kraven the Hunter. The story is disjointed, just scenes loosely strung together. The movie starts with Kraven infiltrating a prison, killing a crime lord, and escaping. So I thought, oh, this movie will be about Kraven being an anti-hero and going after criminals. That could be cool, but after that pretty good opening scene, we had to go through a really long flashback about Kraven's family and how he got his powers. I kid you not, he got animal powers because a lion's blood dripped into his wound and a girl fed him some magical healing water. For some reason, they had to show us a drop of the lion blood falling into his wound and causing a ripple in slow-mo. Yes, it's as stupid as it sounds. I was like, really? You made us watch 30 minutes of flashbacks for this? Can we please get back to Aaron Taylor-Johnson showing off his muscles and killing bad guys? Unfortunately, after that lengthy flashback, the movie does not get back to the action. We have to continue Kraven's family drama. The thing is, it could have been interesting, but the movie doesn't really do anything with it. For some reason, Kraven doesn't try to get his brother away from their dad. I get that he couldn't have taken him when they were just teens, but why doesn't he even try to convince him to leave now that they're both adults? You know your dad treats your brother terribly and is a bad influence on him. You might ask, so the family drama aspect is wasted? Does the movie focus more on developing Kraven as an anti-hero then? Nope, it doesn't do that either. We don't really know why Kraven chooses to go after criminals. I get him killing poachers, he relates to animals or something, but why other criminals? Because he hates his dad? What's up with Sony making their characters have parent issues? The villain of Morbius has daddy issues. Madam Web has mommy issues, and now Kraven has daddy issues again. There's no real explanation for why Kraven chooses to hunt for criminals, and they don't even try to make a compelling argument for why he shouldn't do it. Even the girl doesn't fully disagree with his methods, and Kraven himself is like, why should I stop? I'm good at what I do and it's effective. The interesting thing about anti-heroes like the Punisher is their struggle. They know their method is wrong, but it's the only way they believe crime can be stopped. They don't necessarily like what they're doing, and it affects them and those around them negatively. But throughout the film, it doesn't feel like Kraven learns the lesson that there are consequences to his actions. Yes, his brother got kidnapped, but that was because their dad set them up, so Kraven blamed him for that. He got the girl in trouble, but she wasn't really angry at him either. In the end, Kraven's brother became a villain, but he was upset about being weak already, so it wasn't directly related to Kraven killing bad guys. So throughout the whole movie, Kraven doesn't really grow at all, making everything pretty meaningless. I also don't get the ending, so Kraven's brother becomes the chameleon in the end because he's tired of being a pussy, I guess. I was like, seriously? After everything your brother did for you, you're going to become evil? It's so forced. I get that his brother wants to stop being weak, but that doesn't mean he has to become a crime lord. He even had the audacity to accuse Kraven of being like their dad. What? Your brother did everything he could to save your ass when your dad was ready to let you die. How are they the same? It's so stupid. There is not one single good character in this movie. Kraven is a lazily written protagonist who has little to no motive for being an anti-hero and doesn't grow. The girl is a plot device. She's just there to revive Kraven and help him find his brother. Seriously, that's all she's good for. And the scene where they meet again as adults is so bad. Kraven just shows up at her friend's funeral. I thought that they knew each other already from how naturally Kraven spoke to her, but no, she had no idea who he was. You really couldn't find a better time and place to reveal yourself to her? Anyway, despite Kraven's brother being a pussy, I actually thought he was okay because he refused to betray his family, but they had to force him into a villain in the end. The bad guys are also terrible. Kraven's dad is cartoonishly evil. He freaking pulled his kids out of school to go hunting in Africa after their mom died. Who does that? The foreigner is just weird and his power is really vague. He counts 1, 2, 3. That's basically it. It's so dumb that he doesn't kill Kraven when he had the chance and got shot in the face by the girl with a bow. You guys know that she's with him. Why are you not more careful? The Rhino is also a disappointment and has zero charisma. His whole motive is that he's upset that Kraven's dad humiliated him before. He's also weird for the sake of being weird. He'd let out this cringy laugh once in the movie, and it never happened again. Why even put that in there then? The way he dies is stupid too. He should be indestructible, but Kraven defeats him by stabbing him in his side and having a bunch of buffaloes trample him. That's it. That's how he dies. It's so anticlimactic. There are also some random things in the movie. We suddenly learn that Kraven is afraid of spiders when he's drugged by the foreigner. I was like, what? This was never brought up. Why is this relevant? And in the end, his dad left him a fur vest and he put it on. I know that's to make his appearance more comic accurate, but his dad didn't wear that in the movie at all and we never even saw it. It's so random that he suddenly gets this vest and it's supposed to be a big deal. And why are you putting it on? I thought you hated your dad. Anyway, the usuals are still there, the CGI is still terrible, and the dialogue is cringe. When Kraven focuses on something, they zoom in on the item, and there's a weird yellow aura around it. It looks so cheap, like an effect from a video game 20 years ago. And don't get me started on the Rhino's effect, it's so hideous. As for the dialogue, when Kraven tells the girl he goes by Kraven, I kid you not, he says something like it's Kraven with a K. I was like, what are you, 12? Some of the lines still sound like ADR. The actors' lips barely moved when they talked. I appreciate the fact that they finally allowed the movie to be gory, but it's so half-assed. It only gets really gory in the final fight, but before that, the fights are pretty normal. If you're going to make this R-rated, why not go all out like Deadpool? At least that would be more satisfying to watch. That's basically my thoughts on Kraven the Hunter. I enjoyed it a lot more than Morbius and Madam Web. It's at least somewhat entertaining, but I still like the first Venom movie the most. It's honestly a bit impressive that Sony can make these movies consistently bad. Seriously, the writing is consistently suboptimal or straight up terrible. The CGI is always bad, except for the symbiotes in the Venom movies. And the dialogue is cringe in almost every single one. They always get decent, if not good, actors, but completely waste their talent with poor scripts. I don't know much about the comics, but from the lack of quality of these movies, I would say these characters don't really work without Spider-Man. Sony tries to make them protagonists, but clearly it doesn't work. Venom was okay because of the fun dynamic between Eddie and Venom, but none of the other movies have that. Even though I really liked the first Venom and thought Kraven the Hunter was at least entertaining, I will not miss Sony's Spiderman-less Universe because there's really not much to miss. I'm happy it's finally over and Sony can stop wasting money on these trash movies. Hopefully, they will make better movies out of the Spider-Man IP from now on. Hope you guys like my review and nails. I did Kraven's eye and a no Spider-Man nail because I thought it'd be funny. As always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment, share, do what you want. Follow me on other social media if you like. Links are in the description. Keep nailing it and just watch the first 8 minutes of Kraven on YouTube, people.